Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new episode of Wound Farce, where we review and discuss your and our favorite comedy films. This is the world's first and only. Holy Toledo. I just had a short circuit in my brain. I apologize. It's been so long since we recorded Pulling Back the Curtain. The thing has been like 7 weeks. So, this is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me, as always, on this program, world famous juggler Greg Larson. I apologize for my Elon Musk-like short circuit. How are you, Greg?
I'm a little upset. I'm gonna be honest. We went to Lazy Dog Cafe last night. Just wanted to enjoy. It's hockey playoffs right now. No, we're in the Bay Area, and so Warriors are in the playoffs. But the bar had all NBA playoffs, and it was not even the Warriors. I understood if it was the Warriors. Not one freaking hockey game on any of their TVs. The hate for hockey is some BS. So, California, get your ass together. Enjoy some hockey. How are you doing, Ozzy?
Well, I have an interesting story about going to the theater yesterday. Todd, also with us, Fleshman producer Todd. How you doing?
Chilling.
Okay, so I just want to get into this Thunderbolt story real quick. I'm not going to no spoilers.
New Avengers.
Sure.
They renamed it. It's official.
Okay. Well, if I go to the AMC website, it still says Thunderbolts.
So. But the poster says New Avengers.
Okay, yes. But if I want to go see the movie, if I was going to call 1-800-MOVIE phone and it would say, please enter the first 3 letters of the movie title now, I wouldn't say NEW, I would say THU. That's my point. See, this is how salty I am because of these freaking teenagers inside this theater. Well, I was thinking 4:30 is a great time to go to the theater because there's barely anybody there. About 20 minutes into this movie, and mind you, the 20 minutes of trailers, really close to like 5:30, a group of teenagers comes in, and I could hear the audio disappointment. I could hear it in their voices. It's like, oh man, there's people in this corner. Shoot, right? So then they sit down, and I'm giving them like that 5-10 minute leeway to like, okay, settle in. There's still action going on, so it doesn't really bother anything, and it doesn't really stick out. But then it got to these dialogue moments when you could tell that they were having a conversation separately, right? So my fiance looks at me and says, do you want me to say something? I was like, nope, I got it. And I pull down the recliner and I go over, and when I was walking over, I didn't realize I had my hair all the way down, so I was full travel teeth kind of stuff, kind of action. I almost speared them. So I just went over and I said, could you guys shut up? And I just turned around, and like they called me fat or whatever, but like after 3 minutes, you didn't hear anything from them. Right. So afterward, because I was quiet about it, I didn't yell at them. That's for the second time they want to be an asshole. Right.
That's right.
So afterward, my fiance is like, what'd you say to him? I said, I asked them, could you shut up? And she's like, wow, you said, like, shut up. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to say, oh, could you please be quiet? Only for me to get up 5 minutes later and then tell them to shut up. I'd just rather tell them to shut up right off the bat. And it's their fault for going into a place where it's completely dark, showing up 30 minutes late, and ruining it for the rest of the people. I was well within my rights to tell them to shut up. What say you guys?
I agree, but I have to ask you this because I never have these issues. The further you get from LA, the worse it is. Like if I go to Norwalk, beautiful. If I go to Orange, I got annoying teenagers. Where were you at, Ozzy? I need to know your location.
Puente Hills.
That's your problem.
I should go to Norwalk because that's true. I've never had an issue in Norwalk.
Yeah.
I think there's a movie we're gonna be watching soon. That maybe they just gotta get that teat out of their mouth and and just be told to shut up. So.
Did you like it though, Ozzy? Despite that,
I did enjoy Thunderbolts or New Avengers. However,
I'm just giving you crap. It's an interesting marketing move, but it gets a second wave of people to the theater.
Right. I did enjoy it more than the latest Captain America movie.
Oh yeah, way better. Well, it was about people, not just the fights. It was like an actual story, like quantity.
Sure. Like there was more depth and more like
Yeah.
things for the actors to explore, but I don't know. That Captain America movie felt more like an extended Disney Plus
Well, yeah. I mean, and it plays off the
series.
last one too. I mean,
Yeah,
so
I don't know. It was I saw it twice in theaters and just didn't really like click as like a major, major like this one did. Like this one really clicked as like this is like a major because
It's
not
like
only like
setting up.
major. Go ahead.
It's going somewhere.
Yeah, sure. And especially, you talk about the stuff with the end credits, of course, stuff leading into it. Whereas the last time or that end of that Captain America movie is like, I'm going to form a team. Like, okay. I remember how this story goes, but I'm sorry. We're not going to spend the next 30 minutes talking about Thunderbolts or the New Avengers, at least not yet. That'll be a Flesh Wound Fist episode way in the future.
But if you want to get my opinion, you can go back to last Wednesday's show. We talk about it there.
Well, there you go. Last Wednesday's Flesh Wound Horror.
Well, a couple weeks ago now.
Okay, well there you go. Now today we actually do get the privilege of interesting choice of words there. The privilege of discussing White Chicks, which was released on June 23rd, 2004. Todd, do you have a trailer available?
Yes, sir.
FBI agents Marcus and Kevin Copeland have been assigned to protect the heiresses to a multi-billion-dollar fortune.
If the kidnapper strikes, we will be ready. All you gotta do is pick him up and drop him off.
Now,
You don't actually think we're gonna go to the Hamptons looking like this?
to catch their kidnappers,
One more screw up and me and you are through. You know them girls ain't gonna be there?
Oh, they'll be there.
they'll have to do the unthinkable.
Yo, what's up, money? You got a problem? Nah, yo, hold my poodle. Huh? Hold my poodle, dog. What, you want some of this? You want some of this? Mark, you don't want none of this, son? I'll take the both of you.
From Keenan Ivory Wayans,
Brittany and Tiffany Wilson checking in. Sorry. They're new.
the director of Scary Movie,
There is something different about the two of you.
Do you need help?
This is never gonna work.
First night, you're wearing the wrong underwear.
How long we gotta do this? I'm telling you, by the end of the weekend, we're gonna be heroes. He's got my gun and badge. Go.
they're boldly going where no black man has gone before.
I don't see why I gotta go out with Mandingo. Because if you don't, you're gonna blow up. But that don't mean I gotta go out with Bucky the White Girl Slayer.
I totally am captivated by your beauty.
Oh my God, is that a hangnail? Wait, gotta get in there and just suck that right out.
Shawn Wayans,
Don't hurt yourself, sweetheart. Don't worry, I won't.
Marlon Wayans,
It's the Beverly Hillbillies.
You're so dumb. You went to Dr. Dre for a boob job. Let's kick it old school.
I think you might have been black in a previous life.
For shizzle my nizzle.
White Chicks,
This is our jam, ladies. This is our jam. Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces pass, and I'm homebound. Take a tip and break.
Oh, she's a station.
And that was White Chicks there that had a runtime of 155 minutes, that being the unrated version. The PG-13 version had a runtime of 140, or rather an hour and 49 minutes. Rated, through the rating, released on June 23rd, and written by Keenan Ivory Wayans, Shawn and Marlon Wayans, with the screenplay by three others that I'll have up momentarily. Also directed by Keenan Ivory Wayans, starring Shawn and Marlon Wayans, among others. Initial thoughts on this movie? Who wants to go first?
I'll go ahead and jump in. I do not remember when I first saw this, but I watched this for the first time with my wife. And she was I think she thought she'd seen the movie, but realized she hadn't. And about 2 minutes into the film, she was like, yeah, this movie could never be made again. So, yeah, it was a fun experience to see where it was in a movie that would definitely not be allowed in this era. But I was excited because I've always loved the Wayans, no matter what they've been in. So you're always in for a good time. And yeah, it was everything that I had remembered it to be.
And sorry to interject here, but just for 3 additional credits for the screenplay goes to Andrew McElfresh, Michael Anthony Snowden, and Xavier Cook. Sorry, moving on. Todd, initial thoughts.
Yeah, I've seen this before a few times, like back in the day, drinking some 40s and hanging out. But like this is like the first time I think I really just absorbed it all, and like, well, not drinking. And it was an experience, like 100%. Yeah, you can't do this today. I was shocked. That was a Green Band trailer. Some of those words made it through on a couple, but yeah, I don't think it's as funny as their other stuff, but I think it's the pushing of the line, and just it still makes it a good time.
You know what? In thinking back, because okay, so the first thing we all said is that this can't get made today. However, I think there can be made a point that one could argue for it, because if you look at the movies like Soul Man or Tropic Thunder,
It's reverse.
It's reverse, but it's also like Soul Man is so he can get into this college, right?
Right.
But Tropic Thunder is so that he's literally a white man playing a black character. In this movie, because of the way it's set up in terms of FBI agents going.
No, go ahead, finish.
Going to the basically, they're not. I guess what my point is that because the story isn't specific to race itself and more just it's these two guys that are just posing as two other people.
But you're focusing on the wrong thing. Race isn't the issue.
In this movie, right? Whereas if you're watching Tropic Thunder, you're like. But if you're like gender swap, okay,
that's the problem now. Oh, it's a whole different thing. There's the little kids on the escalator. All that stuff is cancelable.
Okay. I was thinking
you focus on the race thing. I think it happened. The Wayans can get away with it.
Sure.
The problem is the gender, even though they're not. It's a whole thing that you don't. It's
There would have to be there would have to be a few jokes written out. I mean.
It can
still be done if there was just some slight adjustments to the script.
But that wouldn't it would be the Wayans. If you're gonna pull back on what they're trying to do, like if they tried to make this right now, like I don't think the race would even be an issue. It would be the dressing up as the other gender.
So can Mrs. Doubtfire get made today?
I think that's too problematic, but I think they can probably get away with that one. Like if it was
I'm surprised Todd gave any sort of like support for this. He had the opportunity to be like, screw that movie. No, it can't be made again.
Touche.
But I think that one's a little, I don't know, but I think this one, because that one doesn't, it's weird. And then you have the whole thing of like, you have to just accept these monstrous looking women are actually passing as women to everyone else. I think that's hard for a modern audience. It just looks so it's not passable to like a person. Everyone wants everything believable now.
Sure.
How bad do those two actresses feel to be like, wait, that's supposed to be very close to us?
Yeah, right.
But let me ask you this. Could Tootsie get made today?
Anything? See, and I'm even afraid to say words to say the wrong one right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think any of that gender swap stuff is a problem. Maybe Medea's the last one who can do it.
Not Big Mama.
Well, like
I think could be.
They're doing the Martin spin-off show with I can't remember the name of the character, but he flat out said, no, he said can't happen now.
Interesting.
Martin straight up said that because they asked him if any character is going to pop up. He said he'll pop up and maybe some other ones, but they specifically asked and he was like, no.
Shanae and Snooki. Or wait, no. I'm thinking Snooki was the LaWanda Jamie Foxx counterpart. Shanae was Martin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So different climate. I know
there's some real stupid things I remember. Like of all like the things to remember, like that actually could help me in any way in life, I remember the name of the secondary transgender Jamie Foxx character from In Living Color.
But where you put your keys 5 minutes ago, son of a gun.
Well, some entity's moving them, so that's not his fault.
So going back to here, initial thoughts. I'll jump in. I didn't get a chance to, but this is my first time watching this movie. It was really interesting, is I like to ask people when I meet them, if I have an opportunity, like just to fill in time, kind of small talk, I'll ask them what's the funniest movie they've ever seen, and I specifically say, don't tell me a movie that, oh, well, everybody likes this, so I like this. I want you to tell me the movie that you thought that you enjoyed the most, that you were laughing at throughout the most. And I asked this to my old boss, who is from Sri Lanka. She was born and raised there, and then immigrated here. And I was expecting her to say like something kid friendly because she had just had a baby. And she'd always said, like, and I had asked her before about Spaceballs and Airplane because I quoted those movies, and she, specifically said, I hate stupid movies. So when I asked her what's the funniest movie she's ever seen, to her, she said it was this one, which took me way off guard because knowing the Wayans brothers and like especially like Scary Movie and stuff like that, and she says that she hates the stupid comedies, like. How did this like? Oh, I was confused by it. But then, if you actually like break it down, it's not just the movie just isn't about them just dressing up as separate genders. They're two FBI agents, like they're going undercover, and this just happens to be the mission that they have. That makes it intriguing and kind of sets it apart a little bit different than what you would find as the stupid traditional comedies, especially having a runtime of nearly 2 hours. You're going to have a good story written to still be entertaining after 90 minutes, or else you might be like Bad Mom Dinner, whatever it's called.
Happy Mother's Day.
That has nothing to do with how I feel about mothers. It's only specifically how I feel about that movie. But we're not talking about that. We're going back into White Chicks. I apologize. Poor choice of words. So do you guys have any favorite moments?
When you're right, you're right.
So could you share any favorite moments you guys for this movie? I mean, I know there's a ton of them, but I'll let you guys go first.
I'm just gonna I'll go with one. Hold on, let me pull my notes. I should have it right. It makes me maybe I'll go next. I don't know. I might have to censor mine because
okay. All right.
Oh, I can't even say mine.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll go.
Should I just drop in clips of them saying? You go first.
Well, we could describe the scene, but I'll go first because it was when I can't remember the name of Terry Crews's character, but when he finally finds out that they weren't who they said they were, he said, "You were lying about being white, not even about being a guy, just about being white." Which I mean, maybe to the point earlier that like might have been added to the humor of it. Because now that would have been like if that situation were here now, that would be the expected line is you were lying about being white. So, but for 2004, 28 years ago.
Progressive.
Yeah. So, okay. You guys want to describe what
I'll clean mine up. We saw a bit of it in the trailer. Like there's something different about you. What's, when they're talking to the girls or the Wayanses. It's like, I got it. You got collagen.
Duh, it's totally obvious your lips went from Cameron Diaz to Jay-Z.
I was like, damn.
So there's a dinner scene with Terry Crews and Marlon Wayans goes away and gets on the phone to call his brother and talking to him like, hey, your time's up. I got to get going. And then Terry Crews calls out and he goes, "Oh, Cottontail." And the response, I nearly did a spit take, but I can't say that sentence.
I'll put it in post.
Perfect.
Oh, Cottontail. I'm coming.
Excellent. So going into the ratings here now, this is kind of is an above average comedy in the terms of that there's some meat to it, almost like
Poor choice of words, kid.
man, I can't just get
You're gonna-
around anything.
You're gonna end
But
up in a wheelchair, Ozzy.
I mean, I'm not to this degree, but almost how you had Beverly Hills Cop have a lot of humor in it, but there was more action in Beverly Hills Cop. But at the same
Yeah,
time, you had that still kind of intriguing story of wanting to know how it was going to end. And so for that kind of drive in a movie like this, like that would on the surface seem like just something completely stupid. My bar was low, I guess. But I think even if it wasn't, I would still rate this as a 5.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think this is fist worthy.
No,
Take
it's
that
not.
as you will.
Oh, brilliant. You know, I can't say I'm that fond of it. I did enjoy the movie. It had its funny moments. I had fun, like, and I did think the story was a good one to go on, and it wasn't just like you said, just for the comedic takes on it and the stupidity. I there were parts though that I did feel kind of slowed down. I don't know if that's because we watched the extended version or not. And also I watched it up until like 1 o'clock in the morning, so that might have unfortunately hindered. But I still give it a 4. I had a lot of fun. Do think it's a good watch. I don't think it's one I'd revisit though.
See, it's one I can watch every once in a while. My thing is, it feels like even in the unrated version, like they were shooting for a PG-13. And I think you feel that versus the other Wayne stuff where they're going for that hard.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I would have liked if they would have gone harder.
What do you mean by
the hard rate? The
Todd is saying that he wanted the Wayans to go harder on white chicks.
Got it.
Hard R is in a
Which
hard
is weird
rated
because
R
Todd
movie.
said white chicks isn't fist worthy, so I don't.
So Todd loves the hard R. That's what we've gotten to. Okay.
Yes, the hard R rating. So I'm a 3.5 on this one. Like I do enjoy it, but the Wayans bar is so high. And I mean, even with just those 3, even if I'm not including the entire family, just the Shawn Marlon Keenan movies they put out, like for Don't Be a Menace and the first 2 scary movies, this one, like those are all 5s to me, where this doesn't.
Right.
Yeah. And I think it could have been higher if those movies didn't exist.
Yeah, I'm curious if on a second run, like the rating would dip a little bit.
Yours or mine or ours?
Well, I'm just posing that as a question because like I was the only one that rated it a 5. And
yeah,
I think adding some context to it. I'm curious if watching it and at the same time, like you can put in a little bit of action in a comedy movie, and I'm automatically gonna love the entire movie. Like Armed and Dangerous. We reviewed such a long time ago.
Did we? Because I know someone requested that. I was like, did we do that? I thought I looked it up.
I'm pretty sure that was like one of the first ones we did because that was one of the first ones I suggested because I love that movie just like the tiniest bit of like action sequence in a comedy, like I'm already like this movie's the best, right? So and I don't know if it's because John Held, the dad from Home Alone, was in it. Kevin McAllister was also in it. I'm sorry, Peter McAllister was in it as well. That I kind of like had some like favoritism or bias, but I wouldn't be surprised if on a second view that it would dip, but I still think it doesn't make it any like I wouldn't enjoy it really that much less. I'd still enjoy it, and it is available on Max as of May 10th. So feel free to check it out. The unrated version, however, is only available on physical media.
No, it's on Max too.
Oh, it's the unrated is on Max too. I thought it was just the regular.
No, I
PG-13.
sent you the information that both are on
He
Max.
doesn't
No,
read
it
what
was-
we send.
I know he doesn't.
I don't read half
No,
the time.
they're absolutely both on Max.
Okay.
And it was a big deal because being on Max is the first time that version's been available since the DVD.
Oh, I see. Well,
So-
both versions are on Max, so you're more than able
But don't
to
bother
check
with the PG-13 version.
that.
But
Correct.
I do agree with Greg though. Like if this would have been trimmed down to a 90 minutes and would have been a lot tighter, I think my rating probably would have went up. I think
Interesting.
yeah, I don't know. 90 minutes, 90 minutes for a comedy is perfect.
Yeah.
Anything beyond that, it's overstaying its welcome. Even with the action content, I feel like tightening it up. But there's also a lot of good bits like you don't want to lose.
That's the tough part. Like what do you cut?
Like
'Cause
Terry
there wasn't-
Crews is gold.
And
throughout the
because
whole thing.
personally, like when I was watching it, I kept thinking to myself, like, you can't like and thinking back when looking at my rating and why I would choose it, it looks at whatever I was shown. Could I have done without any of that? Like, sure, but they were the funny moments, the moments that I ultimately wanted. So I guess that I never thought I would have the highest rating on this movie out of the three of us, but here we are. Stranger things have happened. So this concludes our, I mean, unless you have anything else about this film before we conclude.
No.
All right. Well, that concludes our episode
Wait.
review. What? Oh, I'm sorry, Todd.
Didn't you have a story you wanted to share with us?
Oh, I did talk about the theater. I do have another story.
Oh,
involving
sorry.
a
Yeah, next one. My bad.
involving a mechanic. Now, for that, tune in next week for that story. I got to tease. I got to have multiple stories lined up. I can't just say everyone on one and then next week come up with nothing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's fair.
So stay tuned next week, ladies and gentlemen. And that's it. You guys have anything else like in general, Flesh and Horror, any other announcements?
Yeah.
If you're in the Orange County area, I'll be hosting trivia this Tuesday at the Rush Barn Grill at 7:00. Also, that's in Lake Forest. Also, I'll be hosting this trivia this Wednesday at 7:00 in Placentia at the brewery. Both are free to play and prizes for the top winning teams. By the way, for the next few months, actually, when is this episode airing? A few weeks, was it the end of May? This is going to be the week before Memorial Day releasing. So through July over at the brewery where I will be hosting, if you are a fan of vegan cuisine, there is a group that has multiple vegan vendors that'll be there for the next few Wednesdays. So feel free to check it out. And there's going to be some free trivia. Although I would advise to arrive early. This past Wednesday, no seating room at a table was available. Only the countertop seating was available, and it was right next to the speaker. So if you want to check that out, at least at the brewery, be sure to arrive early. The Rush still has a little bit of space, but feel free to check it out. It is free and always fun to play.
Ozzy packing them in.
I do what I can. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for world famous juggler Greg Larson and Flesh Wound producer Todd, I'm Ozzy V, and we'll see you next week right here in a brand new episode of Flesh Wound Farce.